Hey guys, I'm super excited and nervous at the same time for what's about to go down in my kitchen. I have wanted concrete countertops for as long as I can remember, and I'm finally going to do it. So I'm going to try to record and show you guys the process and hope it don't turn out in a disaster. So first I'll show you what I'm working with. My ugly countertops. So we got everything off. Andy loosened my sink last night so I can get all around and under there. And so first I'm just going to use my palm sander and rough up the top so the concrete sticks. Okay, so I just sanded down my countertops. I didn't spend a lot of time on this, just enough to make it where it's not super smooth. And now I'm just gonna take a dry towel and clean it off and then get ready for the concrete. Okay, so here is the concrete that I'm using. It's Ardex Feather Finish. And I'm just gonna mix it up in an ice cream bucket. And it says to do 2 parts of the powder to 1 part water. So I'm gonna start with 4 cups of powder and 2 cups of water. And it says to put the water in first. And then I'm gonna do about half of the powder. Mix it up and then pour the rest. Okay, so from everything I've seen, when I was stirring that up, I felt like the 2 parts powder to 1 part water, I felt like it was way too thick. So I added, honestly, probably 2.5 more cups of water. So hopefully that was a mistake. So maybe that wasn't the best idea. I mean, it turned out okay for my first coat. But I found out that it is a little easier to work with, thicker rather than thinner. And also, you're supposed to put the water in first and then the powder so it will mix better. And since I added water after the powder, it didn't mix that well and it was lumpy, so that made more streaks. And also I started on this part back here, that way if I did mess up, no one sees this side as much. But I spent so much time in this area right here that my concrete was already starting to harden up in the bucket. So I added even more water. But I have the first coat on most of it. Well, about half of my counter. So now I'm taking the what I have left in my bucket that's gotten hard, and I'm just taking it with my hand and making sure there's no lumps. And then I'm just doing the back part like this. Okay, so I mixed up another batch. I didn't even measure it this time. But this is the consistency that I've got, and it seems to be working a lot better. And I found that this seems to work a lot better for the back side here. So the first coat is on, but it's taken a lot longer than I thought to dry. Maybe I put it on too thick, but I'm gonna hook up some fans and try to speed up the process. I was hoping it would be finished by the time Andy got home, but okay, so the parts that are dry, I'm going ahead and lightly sanding by hand with 180 grit sandpaper. And then I just have a dry paper towel and I'm pushing it all to a pile so I can use my vacuum to clean it up. And I'm already loving all of these dents and imperfections, but after this completely dries, I will probably put 2 more coats on. So yesterday I made so many mistakes. I kept thinking I needed the concrete mix to be thinner, so I kept adding water, but it just made it lumpy. So then when I'm trying to smooth it out, the lumps was making streaks, and it was just kind of a disaster, and it was taking way longer. So hopefully today, well, so far already today, it's a lot better. So I'm finding out that thicker is better. Not too thick. This is like pudding, I guess. So I've just been taking this, put it on here like that. I broke my handle on this, but then I just smooth it out. It's working a lot better, and hopefully will go a lot faster. I just want to show that for around my sink, earlier whenever I was working over there, I did this part, and then it's mostly dry now, so I just moved my sink towards the front, and then I'm doing the back, and then once it's dry I'll just move it back. So I figure it kind of slows my process down, especially when it comes to sealing it, but that way we'll be able to seal it all the way underneath the sink, and hopefully it don't crack whenever we go to clamp it back down. Okay, so here's what it looks like after the second coat. I lightly sanded it again, and I got my shop vac and cleaned up all the dust. I know it looks rough, but it actually feels pretty smooth right now. Some places are still a little damp. I'd really like to just stop here and move on to the next step, but most tutorials I've watched or read on Pinterest, they all used at least 3 layers of concrete, so okay, so I've put 3 layers of the Ardex feather finish on my countertops, and I debated on going ahead and sealing it like this, but I had seen this post on Pinterest a while back, and I've been wanting to do this for a while. And this woman didn't want the dark gray on her countertop, so she used grout colorant And she just did squiggly lines and rubbed it in with a toothbrush. And then after that, she takes a darker gray grout colorant and a feather, and somehow makes it look like fake marble. I've not done that yet, but I did the white grout colorant. My first coat, after that I was really nervous because I didn't like it at all, but I went ahead and put a second coat on over here, and I'm loving it. I'm a little nervous to try the markings for the marble, but we'll see how it goes. I just want to show the difference in the first coat and the second coat. So when I first did this, I was really nervous that I just messed all this up. And then this is the second coat, and it's looking a lot better. Okay, so I have put 2 full coats of the white grout cleaner and a lot of touch-ups on this, and now I'm getting ready to try to make the veins for the marble look. Okay, so I don't have a feather or like the sponges that they've used in the tutorials that I've seen on how to do this, so I'm just gonna try with some random paintbrushes and old wash rag. Okay, so here's what I have so far. I don't really have a plan or a technique. I just kind of been going with it. I've been using this for the darker gray, and I just do that first, and then I take this one for lighter gray, and I go over it, and then I take a bigger one, and I've been going over it in the white. Not really me, but So we are on day 4, I think, of my countertop remodel. So now I'm going to start the sealing process, and I have this water-based concrete sealer. It actually don't seem to smell too bad, but I have my doors plasticed off, and I have my ceiling fan on, my window open, and 2 other fans running. And my kids are not allowed in the kitchen right now. So I'll show how I do it. I know this isn't how I'm supposed to do this, but it comes out in a really thin foamy strip. So I've been spraying it on and then brushing it in. I've just been doing little sections, and it dries really fast. I put 3 coats of the concrete sealer on. So now I'm going to put on the water-based polyacrylic. So I'm finally finished. I put, I think, 5 coats of the polyacrylic on, and it dried really fast. But here it is. I love all the imperfections. I love that we can still see the little dents, and I love that I can still see the concrete showing through. I'm pretty happy with how it turned out.